Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Final Plan, the show each and every Friday where James and I give you a rundown of what our thoughts are for the week. Before the game week deadline, we'll run down our differential team, North, East, South, and anything and everything that goes with that. Game week 8, early kickoff is Spurs-Brighton, or Brighton-Spurs, to be honest. You all set for your team, or you've got stuff to do?
As in Spurs or
Nah,
FPL?
your FPL team. We haven't had all of the press conferences yet. We haven't had the news that we all are waiting on bated breath.
I wouldn't say I was set. I think
What's happening to Kevin De Bruyne?
Well,
50% at the moment.
The majority was that his ownership.
No, his ownership's dropped. Actually, he was at 43 at the start of the week. He's now got to 40. So a 3% drop with his numbers is actually quite a large drop in ownership. Another couple of percent, and you see his price go down.
Yeah, there's that fear. I mean, for the majority of us, we've probably been on longer, and it's not an issue. It will probably burn people more who've only been on since, say, pre-Everton, for example. My advice generally would be to hold. I'm going to hold. I'd bought him at 9.7. It doesn't look like a long-term injury. I've got no real concerns.
Yeah, I mean it's a groin problem, right, with K.D.B.
Fortunately, I've got Todd Cantwell as first sub as well.
Fortunately or unfortunately?
Well, we don't know at the moment. I'm refreshing Ben Dennery's page, constantly looking for Norwich team news, because there's a rumour that circled in the last 48 hours that Cantwell has picked up a hamstring injury. That said, he's been named in the England under-21 squad this morning. So literally just waiting on Daniel Farke to give us some sort of update. If Cantwell's fit, he's my first sub, and they've got a good fixture this weekend.
With K.D.B.
Yeah, and it just makes sense. The fact that they've got a good fixture kind of makes it very bearable just to go, yep, that's fine. But De Bruyne, for me, it's never entered my head to sell him. He'd have to be out for 3 weeks or so, bearing in mind we've got an international break, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of value for most people, 9.5 to 10. You can only really stomach that on the bench for maybe 2 weeks at most, so 3 weeks or more, and you would probably recommend changing it around with K.D.B.
Yeah, there absolutely is that. I'm not a fan of leaving that kind of money sitting on the bench, but if it is one game week, plus the fact that it's City and your asset could get left out at any time anyway, right? So
it's his turn to get rotated because he was the one 3 weeks ago. Sterling followed him, then Aguero. Now it's back to K.D.B, isn't it?
I don't think that's going to be the long-term case with Kevin De Bruyne.
Are you telling me that that's not how Pep does his rotation? On rotation,
no,
chooses them in order?
I think he picks Ederson, then he picks De Bruyne, and then he picks 9 others.
Yeah. Well, if you trust him, he picks Bernardo Silva first and then picks 10 others, is what he said last season, if you remember.
And we ain't picking Bernardo at the moment, is he?
No.
And the way Mahrez is playing, and there is a fault. Get off De Bruyne, go to Mahrez, go straight back to De Bruyne. You could nick the value on Mahrez. I think people possibly be a bit curbed by that, unless they've already made the moves by the fact that Mahrez went up to 8.6 last night.
Yep.
I wouldn't advise that move.
You have one free transfer this week, right?
Yes.
You've only got the one. Have you made it, or are you still?
I haven't made it. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to go Zinchenko to Otamendi. I think Zinchenko will play this weekend, but I think that Mendy issue is looming, and it's getting worse and worse by the week, where he's going to edge him out eventually. I do have slight concerns on Otamendi and not being as nailed as most people are thinking, because he's been playing right-sided centre-half since Fernandinho got back in the team, and technically that is John Stones' side as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's an absolute lock at Otamendi, and if I make that move for a couple of weeks and then I'm changing it again, that's fucking shite.
The ownership across some of these City defenders is still pretty low. I mean, Otamendi's at 7.7, Zinchenko's only 5.6. All the other way around, I can't remember, but it's very, very low ownership on these players. You don't really want to be pissing about transferring them in and out too much, right? Doing the hokey cokey. So once you pick one, you kind of want to stick.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of sideways moves like that. I was listening to Surgery this morning, and they were talking about that as a move, Zinchenko to Otamendi, and they think it's reasonable. And so do I as well. I'm probably quite alone in actually being concerned about Otamendi's longer-term place in that team. I think at the moment their first choice centre-half is Fernandinho. I don't know how far away Stones is, but if I make that move and then Stones is back in 2-3 weeks, it's a fucking annoying. And that's actually what's putting me off, mate, in the move.
The difference between you and me is you still have your wild card up your sleeve. I have activated mine this week.
Is Kevin De Bruyne in it?
Kevin De Bruyne is still in it at the moment.
That's a big call,
I bought him at 9.9 and he's gone up to 10. This is my dilemma at the moment. As it stands with my wild card, I've got Edison in goal. I've had him all season, so he's staying as my goalkeeper. He's gone up in value. I don't really see any reason to get rid of him. Trent and Robbo. Otamendi was the move I made from Zinchenko, but I did say that is the one of the two question marks that I had in my squad. Yarmolenko, who's gone up in value. Kevin De Bruyne, Maddison, who the flag's come off, so he's fit now. Mason Mount and Son. And then up front, Aubameyang and Callum Wilson. On the bench, I've got Greenwood, Kelly and Lundstram. Not necessarily in that order. And Button, who seems to be everyone's 4.0 bench filler. I've moved the armband. So this week, the only changes I've made on my wildcard team is I've moved the armband from from K.D.B to Aubameyang. And it's going to stay on Aubameyang because of obviously the K.D.B risk. The only two options I have is Son or Aubameyang. Aubameyang's at home. And Arsenal are playing all right at the moment. So Aubameyang's just a stone-faced killer. So I'm going to leave it on Aubameyang. Now the dilemma is what to do with KDB.
What I was going to say, just to clarify, you've still got Robbo and TAA as well, yeah?
I've got both.
Just not triple, though?
Not triple, just double now. I'm doubling down now.
You're leaving me on my own, yeah?
I am for now.
Okay, cool.
And Matip didn't play on...
That's the other one. I got mad doubt over Matip as well.
He didn't play the other day, right?
We're waiting on Liverpool's team.
I think I heard that he should be fit. I saw it in one of the groups I'm in. People pinging stuff on WhatsApp all the time. Now... the moves that if I move from De Bruyne to Mahrez, which I can do, then I need to get De Bruyne back. If he doesn't drop in value, I need to find 0.1 million because he's gone up by 0.1.
Oh, so you're maxed out.
I'm maxed out. Now the only other move I want to make is maybe get rid of Otamendi and get in Kieran Tierney. I've been talking about him for a couple of weeks. He's played again in Europe. He played well again.
Be very surprised if he played Sunday.
He's got to be breaking into that team. Like as reliable as AFTV are, every Arsenal fan I know is like, got to get in the team, got to get in the team, got to get in the team. And if the fans are calling for it, he must be playing well. And he has in his two cup appearances. So if I'd rather make the move from Otamendi to Tierney now, rather than have to use one of my free transfers post wildcard to do it. Because Lundstram can always come in this week. They're playing Watford, who are bottom of the table for a reason. So if I get Tierney in, I get 1.1 million. And if I have that 0.1 million, then I'm happy to go from De Bruyne to Mahrez because I know I can get De Bruyne back depending on when he's fit again and ride Mahrez out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's not a bad fixture for Lundstram this weekend.
Yeah, and the flip side is if I get Mahrez in, and then and I've got Tierney in, then the other side of the international break, if there's any doubts on Son, for example, playing, because now everyone's saying, look, he's going to Korea, he might be a rotation risk, and I don't want to keep Son and De Bruyne is fit, rather than Mahrez to De Bruyne, I could go Son to De Bruyne, and I'll have then Mahrez and Kevin De Bruyne. So it gives me a couple more options to go from De Bruyne to Mahrez and Otamendi to Tierney.
Can I ask you a horrible question? Did you wildcard to help get Kevin De Bruyne in your squad?
No.
That's good, because that would be fucking painful.
Yeah, of course. There was 5 changes that I wanted to make overall. I wanted a stronger midfield. I wanted to change formation. I'd played 4-3-3 pretty much the entire season so far.
You're going to be quite unique here in not wildcarding into a front three.
Yeah, 3-5-2 for me. I think that the Yarmolenko, Mount, Maddison, all sub 7 million. I know Maddison 7.1. Are great value picks. And then 2 9.5 million-ish, well, Kevin De Bruyne 10 midfielders. Gives me a balance. Like we said, I like to spread my butter over my toast evenly everywhere rather than piling it on. I've got moves here that I can make. If I really needed to release 0.1 or 0.2, Yarmolenko to McGinn can still happen and there's money in the bank. Callum Wilson to Tammy Abraham can still happen and there's money in the bank. If I was even bolder, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi could happen. There'd be quite a bit of money in the bank. So I've got 2 or 3 moves I can make.
I tell you the one thing I really don't like about your squad, and actually I think it's all right, and I think that's a horrible position you've got into with De Bruyne to not be able to make the decision now.
Bad luck.
Yeah, no, it is.
It happens.
What I don't like about the squad is that it's maxed out and there are 4 big players that you can't get to.
Yep.
Which are Aguero, Mane, Salah, and Sterling.
I can get to. I just would have to make 2 transfers. Yeah, which is fine.
I mean, if you don't leave De Bruyne in, you might need to make 3. Things start getting really awkward.
Yeah, I'm not too worried because if I really needed to release money, I can downgrade Edison to Pope. That gives me $1.5 million. It's interesting. If you look at the a few of the leagues that when we're in the Bloggers and Streamers League, I went down the top 10 there just to have a look at goalkeepers. Nobody has got a premium goalkeeper. Like very few people have got a premium goalkeeper. Everyone's on either Pope or Heaton or Ryan, and those 3 have massive ownership.
That's about to change, by the way.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because
Alisson's fit.
Yeah, true, and he's 5.8.
His ownership will make people tempted.
Did you just say he's fit? I hadn't seen that.
I think he'll play for Liverpool on Sunday.
Wow. That means that I could go Edison to Alisson and have triple Liverpool defence again.
If he doesn't play this weekend, he will almost certainly play after the international break. They probably could have forced him in for Salzburg on Wednesday night, and I think the fact that Adrian's conceded 3 goals again might lead to them forcing it in. They know Leicester's a good side, right?
Yep.
I think they might take a chance and might push him in a bit earlier than was intended. I think Alisson might start this weekend.
Yeah, true, and a lot of people might go on to him. He's 5.8 million now, so from Edison to Alisson would give me a couple of pips there. I can downgrade Son. I mean, Spurs aren't on the greatest run at the moment, got some difficult fixtures, so I could downgrade Son to like a bunch of people. Even a Son to McGinn gives me a shitload of money to take Aubameyang to Aguero. So it's 2 moves for me. I could downgrade Aubameyang to Tammy Abraham, gives me 3.5 million all of a sudden. So I would have to sacrifice.
Then you've got the opposite problem. I like having one of them that
premium strikers,
premium forwards in there. It's just a personal.
Of course.
But you haven't got one of the real premium mids. I know De Bruyne might cover it all off.
I think De Bruyne this season's a 250 to 300 point player, so I'm not worried. Son is playing out of position up front. Maddison, Yarmolenko, Mount. I'm not overly worried, to be honest with you. I do get it. I did put the tweet out straight after I'd wildcarded. Only I would wildcard a squad without Salah, Mane, Sterling, Harry Kane, or one other person.
With Aubameyang, you can captain most weeks between now and sort of mid-December.
Yeah, and Son gives me game week 9 and game week 12, and then K.D.B.
Does he?
Well, if he plays game week 9, we'll soon find out. And then Kevin De Bruyne gives me anything else, and you know what? That's fine with me for now.
Yeah, you'd stick De Bruyne vice captain in that every week, other than this week, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So there we go. I'm fairly comfortable. I may wait and see what happens in the press conference. If it's confirmed that he's out, K.D.B, then I'll do K.D.B to Mahrez, Otamendi to Tierney, and then roll it and see what happens after the international break and come back with a transfer then.
Good luck. I really hope genuinely that works out. The listeners know I banter the fuck out of you. I don't want you finishing in the position you're in at the moment. I'd like
1.6. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm listening. It's early. Listening.
I just think you
on
can't.
the surgery
you can't worry
as well.
about it. What are you worried about?
Will from Hub.
Yeah.
Like he's 3 million something at the moment.
Yep.
I'll tell you now that Will will finish in the top 200,000.
I just think it's too difficult to make those kind of predictions this season. It's been a funny one. It's been a real funny one. What I would say is that the points differences between the ranks is still very tight, so you can up and down very quickly. We did say it on the main pod for another at least 5 to 6 weeks before things stabilise, in my opinion. So
All
there
right.
we go. Tell
Good
me
luck.
about. Let's talk about the differential team, and then we'll talk North v South. What are your thoughts on the differential team? We had a great week last week. We came off the back of 81 points in the end with
What
the
was
auto
the
transfers.
game week rank in the end?
Game week rank was 22,618.
Smash that. What's the rank now?
The overall
1.2
rank,
million, I believe.
yeah, of the team
It's
is
doing all right, mate.
1.27 million.
Yeah, it's
You are
doing
right.
okay. And the squad looks all right.
Yep.
At the moment, we'd be set with Loris, Otamendi, Matip, Zuma, if you'd play this weekend, Pepe, Richarlison, McGinn, Tielemans, Son, Ale Vardy with a bench of Heaton, Doherty, Syunchu, and Origi.
Yep.
We've got most of the differential guys that I think you'd want in there, actually.
Yeah, the one that we haven't is Riyad Mahrez, maybe.
It's unfortunate that Doherty and Syuncu both have shocking fixtures this weekend.
Yeah,
we obviously don't
play the fixtures.
We don't think Zuma probably won't start for Chelsea. We don't know, but I think we'd have to put him in there on the basis that he did.
Yep.
Would we go first sub Doherty or Syuncu?
Doherty.
Yeah, that's how I've got it set up. Now, we've got 2.5 million in the bank, and we've obviously got a free transfer. I've highlighted a few players to consider. One we've already mentioned is Alisson. I don't know if we just throw him in, mate, because we've got Lloris and Heaton as the goalkeepers.
For Heaton or for Lloris? Probably for Lloris, right?
It'd have to be, yeah.
Yeah, I
and
don't
then
think
once he's in and he's fit, when we wildcard this, we've still got that. We get Heaton down to the 4.0 or so. So Alisson to Lloris is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Heaton's not got a bad fixture this weekend either, right?
What, Norwich? Free scoring Norwich.
Yeah, but all right, Heaton at Norwich, Lloris at Brighton. Yeah, you'd probably go Lloris. All I'm saying is we get Alisson, and then probably not a move that should be rushed, but I just feel like for us in this team, buying players under 10%, we are definitely getting Alisson. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Fine, but then on the flip side, we can rarely afford attacking Manchester City players because their ownership is always so high. And we have the opportunity with Riyad Mahrez here to get him in for sure. Can we go from Tielemans to Mahrez? Do we have enough money?
That's exactly what I want to do, yeah.
Oh, well, great minds think alike.
We've got 2.5 million in the bank. Yes, I want to go Tielemans to Mahrez. Other differentials that I noted to consider was obviously Tomori is still very lowly owned. We could make that straight swap with Zuma. He's obviously had the England call up now.
Yeah.
Your mate Yarmolenko is obviously in your wildcard squad.
He is. We've got Haller though, so I wouldn't want to double up on West Ham.
That's how I feel. Buendia as a Norwich coverage, maybe 6 million. And one that's obviously getting mentioned, particularly in the community this weekend, and it's possibly a little bit dependent on what the news is with Todd Cantwell, is Saka at Arsenal, who impressed Monday night, he was kind of sacrificed in the Villa game because of Maitland-Niles' red card, but he'd impressed on the Thursday before against Frankfurt in Europe as well.
For sure, yeah.
Didn't play for Arsenal in the Europa League last night. Suggests he probably will play. Home fixture with Bournemouth.
That is really that moves out of the category of differential into the category of real punt for me.
Well, for me as well, and this is a conscious one of Saka. So I think the problem you've got with someone like that at that value, if he's going to play regularly for Arsenal, you're going to be compelled to pick him.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to be in and out of that team. Now, it looks like at the moment he might play. But then where was Ozil last night? He didn't go to Manchester and he wasn't even on the bench last night. So, I don't know. Has he been held back for Bournemouth for some reason? It's the sort of game you could play Ozil in. I'm just saying.
I think there are. I'm not a fan of Saka. I'll tell you what. I think that
it's probably more about
too much talent there.
Lacazette as well when he's fit.
Lacazette will be back, but now Martinelli is pushing Lacazette for all the reviews that I read on the performance yesterday. Martinelli played really well, really well, and everyone's like, he's got to be pushing for the team. Joe Willock's pushing for the team. Reece Nelson's getting minutes. Ceballos played yesterday. He hasn't played previously. I think there's too much competition for Saka right now. I think he's probably just a little bit too far down the pecking order to be worth a risk.
Well, I think it's a gamble for
Although
those.
He's a good player.
Yeah, if you've got injury problems this week, I thought about it as well as like a move from Stevens or a move from Cantwell. If Cant was out for a while, I might just go, sod it, I'll drag it down. I'll play Saka this weekend. Then I've got 0.4 that allows me not to be panicking about forcing other moves through.
Yeah.
So I think it is a very, very short-term consideration for people. I'd express that it's probably a good move for people who might be considering playing their wild card at some point in October or early November.
So you're thinking about people dead-ending?
Well, yeah, a little bit. And then your options to get away once you've kind of assessed it. I don't see him locking down a regular place in this Arsenal side this season. Great stat on Arsenal, by the way. After Aubameyang and Lacazette, who's their highest scorer this calendar year?
After Lacazette and Aubameyang?
Yeah, all comps this season.
Martinelli?
This year,
he scored
2019.
2. He scored 2 yesterday, so Martinelli?
No.
Okay, I don't know.
Joe Willock was 6.
He scored 6. Oh, the calendar year. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they have so much rotation.
But I think it
there.
re-emphasises the point that Aubameyang is a bloody good pick
Aubameyang
at
is the
moment.
man. This week I've seen on so many, on a lot of the podcasts and streams and stuff, he's the one that I think is giving people a lot of fear, the non-owners. Aubameyang is the one that's giving people the jitters that could do some damage. I don't think Arsenal are going to smash Bournemouth, by the way. I think a couple of goals maybe at best.
Yeah, you'd never really know what you're going to get with Bournemouth. I also looked, because in this team we've got 2.5 in the bank, I did look at moves to get away and off of Origi and look at players at sort of under 7.5. So you could obviously consider the Burnley lads, Barnes and Wood. But the one I looked at, if we was to make that move, this is so left field, is Delafeu. Good fixture this weekend. Follows by, obviously, Spurs away, but then Bournemouth at home, Chelsea at home, and then Norwich, Burnley, Southampton, Leicester, Palace. It's not a bad run. 2% owned, 6.1 million. I'm not advocating anybody goes for Gerard Delafeu, but it might have been a suitable one for us, perhaps. But I think our move is Tielemans to Mahrez, isn't it?
I think Tielemans to Mahrez just keeps coming back as the standout move for us.
Well, we were looking to get, as we've got Vardy and Seungkyu as well, I don't think we were, even in spite of a decent run of fixtures following this weekend, you don't really want 3 Leicester players away to Liverpool, do you?
Nah.
And we might have to end up with Seungkyu in the team, possibly anyway. So I think Mahrez in for Tielemans, and then who do we captain from that?
Son?
That's what I've got it on at the moment.
Wow. We're doing really well of aligning ourselves here on this.
So captain options would be...
Son or Pepe?
You wouldn't captain Vardy at Liverpool.
No. Son or Pepe?
Son at Brighton, Pepe at home to Bournemouth, or Allaire at home to Palace.
Son for me. I think Heung-min Son.
Yeah,
It's a good differential captain choice.
I think Son from that, yeah. Okay, cool. How'd your North team get on last week, mate?
Bad. I didn't even log into my North team last week, so I left the armband on Aguero. And then Hayden got me the magnificent -2, so I ended up on 33 points. What am I, 33 points ahead of you or something like that now?
You're not as many points ahead of me as you should be.
Yeah, that's true.
I know. I hit 59 with my Southern Softies last week, which I think, all things considering, was a decent week. With returnees again, clean sheet Van Arnholt. I bought John McGinn as we did for our differential team last week.
Yes.
Goal. Mason Mount assist, Son assist, Aubameyang goal, Allaire assist, Kane captain goal. Now, I'm a bit unlucky for the second week in a row to be sub 60, really, because there's a lot of returners in there. It's a 7 returner again, and I'm still under. I think the problem is with my squad is, unless the captain nails like a Kane or Aubameyang, then the other guys are going to not tick over points. They're not really... Son will have a week once every 2 months where he goes fucking
15.
mental. But there's not too... Like, Mount's going to tick over 6s, 7s, that kind of thing. Allaire, the same, I think. There's not explosiveness in them. That's a real problem I've got. I don't know what moves I'm going to make for this team yet this week. Doesn't help. Maitland-Niles has lost his place when he didn't play against United on Monday following the red card against Villa.
But he did play yesterday.
Yeah, but is he going to play Sunday?
I don't know.
That's the problem. So I assume
Bellerin's
Chambers plays at right back against Bournemouth, and then on the other side of the international break, Bellerin would be back in. So I probably want to move Maitland-Niles to a Bellerin or Tierney, but then don't want to make that move yet. So I'm probably going sideways here. The one I've mentioned for the differential, Zuma to Tomori, probably.
Gives you a little bit of money as well to think about what we want to do in the future.
Big, tough captain call this week, Kane or Aubameyang for me.
Aubameyang's got the home fixture, so I think you've got to go with Aubameyang.
I'll go Kane.
Yeah, go for it. You are with your existing team as well.
And Harry Kane will be my captain this game week. It's a straight choice between me in my main team, between Kane and Sterling. I'm going to back my boy.
Go for it. I've still got the triple Liverpool, Trent, Mane and Firmino. I'm happy with that. I've got triple City, Otamendi, De Bruyne and Aguero. I'll probably captain Aguero, I think. I don't think many people will, but I'll probably captain Aguero. I think he'll get 90 minutes this week anyway because he was rested last week. I've got the two Norwich guys in Pookie and Cantwell. No flag on Cantwell as it stands at the moment. Pope and Dean. My transfer this week was to get rid of Hayden. Although it seems like a complete waste of getting rid of a 4.5 million player. So I may just bench him and bring in Dendoncker and be done with it.
You've picked so much shit in that team because you've gone for so much firepower.
Yeah, I know. But it's fun. This is the whole point of this game, is to have a bit of fun. I'm like, triple Liverpool, triple City beat an entire team?
Here we go.
Of the
Updated
South.
news. This is live now from Ben Dennery. Pep expects De Bruyne to return after the break. John Stone's fire is on a similar time frame. Pep confirms Kevin De Bruyne is out of the Wolves game. Kevin De Bruyne also omitted from the Belgium squad. Injured groin at Goodison Park last week, but Guardiola thinks he will be back afterwards. We might even have some Cantwell news. Grant Hanley's had a groin setback. That's handy.
Oh dear.
Any news on Cantwell? I can't see any.
No.
None of the Canaries' injured players are coming back for the game, confirmed Farke. The crisis is getting worse. McGovern is set to make his full Premier League debut as Ralph Farman-Groin is out and Tim Krul is not able to play. Hanley has suffered a setback and will meet with a specialist. Byram is struggling with an ankle injury, although I think Max Evans is back for them. However, he will be included in the matchday squad. Cantwell has had a slight hamstring issue, which essentially tells us
Out.
Fuck all.
He probably is out. Hamstring's a tough one. It's such a big muscle. You don't want to do a lot of damage to that.
Yeah, but it might be if you just feel it, then you might
Take a
skip
bit of rest.
training and sit. So hamstring's one of them. If you feel it, you don't get clever about it. It's like, okay, I need to sit out.
Yeah. I will, off the back of that news and everything we've spoken about, I will not be keeping Kevin De Bruyne in my squad going into this week. I'm on a wild card. It just doesn't make any sense for the sake of 0.1 to be carrying a player of nearly 10 million in value into your wild card.
I think that's the right choice. I think you need to also make somewhere another sacrifice to leave yourself a small amount of money. And that could be something like a Yarmolenko to McGinn. It's your call.
Well, the poor problem now is that there's only a couple of pips between them, so it's not really enough money to make it interesting.
Do not be in a position, this is quite a good bit of advice as well. When you wildcard or you free hit or you do any of those things, the feeling in you compels you to spend every ounce of fucking money you've got. What you don't want to be in a position is where you wildcard, because of injury you can't get the player you want, in Sudge's case, Kevin De Bruyne, and then be in a position for the next game week that you can't buy him.
Yeah.
That's not a position you want to be in.
No, of course.
So I think the right choice for you is to not pick Kevin De Bruyne. Be prepared to at least know what your hit's going to be, I would suggest, on the other side. That, of course, that's an option. I would leave a couple of pennies back, mate.
That will be the plan. I think I'm going to be Maverick and get Tierney in because I think he's going to be a good player.
You know, you could go instead of De Bruyne and hold you some time. His son.
I've already got Son.
Have you got him as well?
Yeah, man.
All right, go somewhere else.
I've already got Heung-Min Son, so there we go. Guys, thanks for listening to The Final Plan. Do keep your eyes on Ben Dinnery and Twitter and all the rest of the stuff, because the press conference is going to be quite important this week. One of the toughest weeks where I think captaincy is a real question mark, with home fixture for Arsenal, good fixture for Spurs and Liverpool and City. So good luck. I think we'll see a bigger split across captaincy this week than probably any other week so far this season, which makes the game all that more interesting and all that more fun as well. Anything else to add?
No, I really hope this wildcard works out for you. Go with your instinct, not what. Don't go scanning for people's opinions. Just do your thing,
I never
mate.
do, to be honest. I haven't logged into Twitter all week. I only logged in once to see Lee commenting about my marital problems and not being able to get my wife to play with my FPL.
No, that is all from me.
Good.
Just good luck to everyone. Have a good game week. Enjoy the international break. We'll be back all next week.
Yes. Ciao for now.
Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.